Think about it. Most of us have a vehicle just sitting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it does more than just get us from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
It's, potentially a way to make some money.
Totally. An income source on wheels.
Ever wonder how to actually tap into that?
Well, that's exactly the question we're diving into today. We've gathered a whole lot of info on these driving apps,
All right.
these sort of digital platforms connecting people, maybe like you, with chances to earn using their car.
Or sometimes even without one, apparently.
Yeah, in some cases, exactly.
And we're not just, skimming the surface here.
Mhm.
Our sources really dug into a whole range of ways you can use your vehicle.
Mhm.
We're talking delivery, driving, food, groceries, other stuff, ride sharing, of course.
And even putting ads on your car or renting it out.
Yeah, renting it out when you're not even using it.
Mm.
Interesting.
So our goal, our mission for this deep dive is really to map out this whole landscape of driving apps.
Okay.
We want to pull out the key stuff, what each one's about, what you need to get started, the earning potential.
And the downsides, too, right? The trade-offs.
Absolutely. So you can quickly figure out what might, fit your own situation.
Okay, so let's get rolling. Where should we start? Delivery seems like the obvious one.
Definitely. Probably the first thing people think of. And we have to start with, well, the giant in the room, Uber.
Right, Uber. They kind of do it all, don't they?
They really do. Ride sharing is huge for them, but Uber Eats, their food delivery side, is also just massive.
Their reach is pretty crazy, isn't it?
It's impressive, like 10,000 cities, nearly 70 countries.
Wow.
The big appeal, I think, is that flexibility. You can basically log in and work whenever you've got some free time.
Makes sense.
But that huge network, it also means, well, more drivers.
More competition.
Yeah, especially in cities. So that's something you got to weigh up.
Sure. And what about getting started? Is it complicated?
Seems fairly straightforward, actually. You need to be old enough to drive where you are, have a valid U.S. license, and at least a year of driving experience in the U.S. Oh, but it's 3 years if you're under 24.
Okay, good to know. And the car itself?
Needs to be an eligible four-door vehicle. They have lists, usually.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Now, the money part, how does that work with Uber?
It really varies. Depends heavily on the city, the time you drive.
Right, peak hours and stuff?
Exactly. And they have these extra ways to earn, like Quest bonuses for hitting trip targets and Boost promotions.
Boost?
Yeah, it multiplies your earnings in certain areas when demand is super high, like, during rush hour or bad weather.
So those surge times can really make a difference.
They definitely can. Flexibility and surge pay are the big pros.
But the cons are that competition and you covering all your own costs.
That's the main thing. Gas, insurance, repairs.
Yep.
It's all on you.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Who's next on the delivery list? DoorDash.
Yep, DoorDash. They're really laser focused just on food delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar pitch to Uber Eats. Work when you want. Pick the orders you want.
Do they have booths and things too?
They do. They call it peak pay during busy times, and they run challenges for extra cash if you complete certain goals.
What's unique about them?
One interesting thing is, in some places, you don't even need a car. You can deliver by bike or even just walking.
Oh, wow. That opens it up quite a bit.
It does. And they also push referral bonuses pretty hard, trying to get more drivers.
Anything to watch out for with DoorDash?
Well, they have a driver rating system, your Dasher rating. You need to keep it above 4.2, otherwise you risk getting deactivated. So customer service matters.
Right, keeping people happy. And flexibility, is it always log on whenever?
Sometimes. In busier areas, you might need to actually schedule your delivery shifts or dashes in advance. So maybe slightly less spontaneous sometimes.
Okay. What about Postmates? Are they similar?
Similar, yeah, but a bit broader. They do food, but also groceries, drinks, that kind of thing.
Now sign up.
Seems pretty simple. Just use their fleet app. And again, the promise is work whenever.
And the pay potential.
Their website claims up to $25 an hour.
Okay. Any catches?
Well, one thing people might like is they don't have a driver rating system like DoorDash.
Oh, interesting. Less pressure, maybe?
Could be. But they aren't available absolutely everywhere, and some drivers report tips might be a bit lower compared to others.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on. Roadie. That sounds different.
It is a bit different. They focus on delivering all sorts of items, not just food. Think like stuff from stores, maybe even lost luggage.
Huh.
Flexibility is still key. Choose your schedule. Choose the specific gigs you want.
How's the pay structured?
It's usually per trip, ranging from maybe $10 up to $40. Depends on the item, the distance.
Right.
You get paid weekly, and you might be able to stack multiple deliveries if they're going the same way.
Sounds potentially efficient. Downsides.
Well, our sources suggest it's maybe not as popular or widespread as the big food apps yet.
Okay.
And there were some mentions of the app itself maybe being a bit glitchy sometimes.
All right. Good to know. Let's talk groceries. Instacart comes to mind.
Yep, Instacart. Big player in grocery delivery. They actually have two main ways to work with them.
Yeah.
You can be a full-service shopper, so you do the shopping and the delivery. Or you can be an in-store shopper, where you just pick and pack the orders inside the store.
Ah, okay. So the in-store one doesn't require a car.
Exactly. Both let you choose your hours, though.
What are the requirements for the full-service role, the one with driving?
Need to be 18 plus, eligible to work in the US or Canada, have a smartphone, naturally, a reliable car with insurance, of course, and critically, be able to lift over 30 pounds. Groceries add up.
Yeah, they definitely can. What's the pay like?
Sources suggest around $15 an hour on average.
Yeah.
Again, super dependent on location, hours, order complexity, tips.
Sure, always variables. The choice of roles is nice, though.
Yeah, if you don't want the wear and tear on your car, or maybe the driving part, the in-store option is there, though the pay might cap out lower.
Makes sense. Okay, what about Amazon? They deliver everything. Do they have a driver gig?
They do. It's called Amazon Flex.
Flex. Okay. Basically, you're delivering Amazon packages. Yeah. The system works a bit differently. You reserve delivery blocks, like specific time slots, in advance.
Ah, so less log on whenever and more planning ahead.
Exactly. You pick the blocks you want, usually a few hours long.
Requirements.
Bit higher age, 21. Need the smartphone, licensed insurance, and a qualifying vehicle, often a mid-sized sedan or larger, depending on the package volume.
And the pay, Amazon usually pays pretty well, right?
The advertised rate is quite good, yeah. $18 to $25 per hour, according to them.
That's attractive. Pros seem to be good pay, planning your schedule.
Easy sign-up, too, apparently.
Cons.
Well, like the others, you cover your own gas, maintenance, parking sometimes.
Right,
Is not
yeah.
available everywhere yet. And those delivery blocks. They can be really popular, so you might have to be quick to snag the ones you want.
Competition for the blocks themselves. Okay. Grubhub, another food delivery one.
Yep, Grubhub, also a major player, partnered with tons of restaurants.
How do they handle scheduling? They use scheduled blocks too, which you generally book in advance, though apparently newer drivers might have fewer choices at first until they build up some history.
Okay. Requirements.
You need to be 19 or older for Grubhub and have at least 2 years of driving experience. Plus the usual smartphone.
And pay.
Seems to be around $12 an hour, maybe? Again, varies wildly by city, time, deliveries, tips.
Got it. Any perks?
They do have a driver recognition program, offering some benefits for consistent drivers.
But maybe fewer direct cash incentives compared to others.
That's what some sources suggest, yeah. Maybe less focus on things like peak pay compared to DoorDash or Uber Eats.
Cool. One more on the grocery front. Shipped.
Right. Shipped. Very similar model to Instacart on-demand grocery shopping and delivery.
Sign up easy.
Supposedly a simple online process.
And what do they look for in drivers or shoppers?
At least 18, valid address, license, insurance, need a reliable vehicle, 1997 or newer.
Okay.
Interestingly, they specifically mention needing knowledge of produce selection.
Huh. So you got to know your avocados.
Oh. Apparently so. And be able to lift up to 45 pounds, so a bit more than Instacart's requirement, plus a smartphone, iOS, or Android.
What about the pay for shipped?
The base seems a bit lower, maybe around $6 an hour, plus tips.
Okay.
But the potential upside is you can often shop multiple orders simultaneously.
Ah, batching orders. That could boost the hourly rate.
Exactly. Plus, shoppers get a free ship membership for their own use, which is a nice little perk.
Main downside. Availability.
Yeah, they're not everywhere, only in select U.S. cities currently.
All right. That's a lot on the delivery side. Let's switch gears. Rideshare.
Sounds good. We already touched on Uber doing both, but the other big name just in rideshare is Lyft.
Lyft. Right. So just focused on giving people rides.
Except connecting drivers and riders, requirements are pretty similar to Uber's rideshare side.
Yeah.
Generally 21, but sometimes it's 25 depending on the location, so potentially a bit higher than some delivery apps.
Okay. Need a license for at least a year.
Yep. And a 4-door car, minimum 5 seat belts. And a smartphone, of course.
Pay expectations.
Sources say up to maybe $16 an hour. Again, depends heavily on time, city, demand.
What are the listed pros for Lyft?
Weekly pay, You keep 100% of your tips and that flexible schedule.
Main con being that potentially higher minimum age.
Seems to be the main difference highlighted compared to, say, Uber.
Okay. There was another rideshare one mentioned. Hop, skip, drive. Sounds specific.
Very specific. Their niche is driving kids.
Driving kids.
Yeah.
Like to school and activities.
Exactly. So it's often framed as more of a part-time gig.
Okay, I imagine the requirements are much stricter for that.
Oh, definitely. Safety and trust are paramount. You need serious caregiving experience, 5 years total, with at least 2 specifically with kids.
Wow. Okay.
Clean driving record, minimum 3 years driving experience, car needs to be 10 years old or newer, proof registration, insurance, minimum age is 23. And you have to pass a really thorough multi-agency background check, including fingerprinting.
That's a high bar. Does the pay reflect that?
It seems to. Around $40 per hour is mentioned, which is significantly higher than standard rideshare.
Makes sense given the responsibility.
For sure. Great pay, flexible part-time hours are the pros.
What
Availability is limited to certain U.S. cities, and obviously those strict requirements mean it's not for just anyone.
Absolutely. That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond driving people or things around, what about just using the car itself? Advertising.
Yeah, passive income ideas. First one is Carvertise.
Carvertise. So they pay you to put ads on your car.
Basically, yeah, they wrap your car, or parts of it, with ads, and you just drive like normal.
What do you need to qualify?
Usually need to drive a decent amount, like 30 miles a day. Clean driving record. Car needs to be 2008 or newer, and crucially have the original factory paint finish.
No custom paint jobs. How much can you make?
It's tied to specific ad campaigns. Potential is up to $100 a month per campaign.
Gross.
It's free to join, and sometimes you get a choice in the campaigns. Like Hop, Skip, Drive, it's only in selected U.S. cities right now.
Okay. And Rapify? Is that similar?
Very similar concept ads on your car, but their payment model is different.
Oh, how so?
Rapify pays per mile driven while the campaign is active.
Interesting. Requirements.
Bit simpler, maybe. At least 21, need a smartphone, and a car that's 2008 or newer. Less strict on the daily mileage, it seems.
And the pay potential with Rapify.
Seems potentially higher. Sources mention roughly $150 to $500 a month, depending on how much of the car is wrapped, like a partial wrap versus a full one.
Okay.
Sign up is easy through their app. You can often pick campaigns, and they pay twice a month.
Downside.
Just that gigs might not always be available. Depends on advertisers wanting to run campaigns in your area.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, last category. Actually renting out your own car.
Yeah, peer-to-peer car rental. We looked at Getaround first.
Getaround. How does that work? People just rent your car through an app.
Pretty much. You list your car, renters find it, and book it via the app. They can even unlock the car using the app usually.
What about insurance? That seems like a big worry.
Getaround provides insurance coverage during the rental period, which is key. Up to $1 million, apparently.
Okay, that's significant. What kind of car do you need?
Generally 2010 or newer, under 125,000 miles. Max 8 passengers, standard private passenger vehicle.
And what can you earn?
Potentially up to $10 an hour while it's rented. But Getaround takes a commission.
How much?
About 40%.
Ooh, okay. That's hefty.
It is. So ease of use and insurance are pros, but there's also a one-time registration fee, around $100.
Ah, okay. And the other rental platform, Turo.
Turo, another big name in peer-to-peer car rental.
How do they compare? Is listing free?
Listing on Turo is free, yeah. No initial fee like Getaround.
Insurance.
They also provide substantial coverage up to $750,000.
Vehicle requirements for Turo.
A bit more lenient on age, maybe, 2006 or newer. Under 130,000 miles. Needs a clean title, registered in the U.S.
And the earning potential on Turo.
The numbers cited are pretty high, potentially up to $1,000 a month. But that's going to depend hugely on your car. Like, a desirable model in a tourist spot will earn way more, and your location.
Of course. Location applies here too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so across all these different apps and models, there are some common things to keep in mind, right?
Definitely. The big one is that earning potential varies massively.
Right. Depends on the company, how much you work, where you are.
Exactly. And crucially, you have to remember your expenses.
Gas, insurance, maintenance, depreciation.
Yep, the wear and tear. That all eats into your actual profit. It's not just the raw earnings.
Good point. It's also interesting that a lot of drivers don't just stick to one app.
Yeah, that's a common strategy. Driving for, say, both Uber and Lyft, or doing DoorDash and Instacart, it maximizes your chances of getting offers and gives you more flexibility.
Makes sense. Play the field a bit.
And it's worth repeating, even without a car, some options exist.
like the DoorDash, biking or walking.
Exactly. Or even those apps that, pay you for steps or activity. It shows how this idea of leveraging what you have is expanding.
So wrapping this up then, it really seems like there's a pretty diverse menu of options out there if you want to use your car to make money.
Totally. From being really active with deliveries or rides to more passive stuff like the ads or rentals, something for potentially different needs or time commitments.
And that flexibility piece just keeps coming up, doesn't it?
It really does. That seems to be the core appeal for so many people fitting earning around their life, not the other way around.
It definitely makes you think. With how fast tech and work are changing, where does this go next?
Right. How will these driving gigs evolve?
And like what other things we just see as everyday objects or skills might become income streams in the future? What haven't we thought of yet?
Yeah. It's fascinating to consider. Definitely some food for thought.